Hi guys, Squad here. Welcome back to another Satisfactory episode. If you remember the last episode, we ran out of power. We built more screw production and we bust our power limit, which is, I think currently our capacity is 300 megawatts, and even with all the new screw stuff turned off, actually we're only running at 200. With all the screw stuff turned on, we were smashing 300 megawatts. So what I'm going to do is increase our power output. We're going to double what we currently have here, and all this kind of design that I've got, this was originally how I did things, but I actually came up with a better design for this, if you like, which I'm going to implement. Well, this time it's more of a chain design. The reason that the chain design works, as I'll show you, is because the actual coal consumption on these things is relatively slow. If you imagine how many coal it's taking like one every, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds, something like that. So if you can imagine something that's chucking out, you know, 120 per minute, that's like 2 a second. You can get quite a lot of use out of this thing. Let me put it that way. I think in terms of mining, we have, let's see, production. We have the Mark II miner. Yeah, so the only way we can get more coal out of that is to stuff a shard in it, which we do have. And we could then boost it even more to like 50% on top of that, be 180. Anyway, let's crack on. I want to show you the new design. So we're going to get rid of this thing. And this is going to knock our factory offline, but there's not a lot we can do. When you want to completely redesign the power, this is just the way it is, I'm afraid. So we'll take that off. I'm probably going to end up with a load of coal in our backpack as well. For now, we're just going to leave that there, because I don't know if we're going to use that, but yeah. There we go. And then we shall take these offline. There we go. See how full our our backpack's pretty full. We're just dropping stuff on the floor now, as expected. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to build over here. And we're going to get the coal generator like this, and we're going to have the input side of it is going to be here. We're going to leave it a little bit of space so we can walk around, but otherwise it's going to be fairly flush up to this wall like that. That should do it. So we're going to put one in like that. That might be a little bit too close to the wall. Let's just move it along a bit. I'll show you why in a second. Because we want to set up a chain of things. We can always build more that way, so that's fine. Just want to make sure I've got space to come around here and get the belt splitting going. This side we just need walking space. That should do it. That's probably better. Yeah, alright. And then we just line these things up. So another one like that. Actually, thinking about... okay. Thinking about what I want to do. We're gonna want these things back to back, so we probably want them over here, to be honest. There we go. Sorry, third time lucky, as they say. Yeah, that should do it. Right, so we want one like that, and then basically we're just going to put them next to each other with a little bit of a gap. We don't have to leave a gap, but I think it looks a little bit better. You can always put power poles down in between and that kind of thing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 like that. And then what we're going to have is effectively more of these back to back with those. Let's just see what our backpack stays like. So I want to just get rid of these for now. Okay, right. Can I quickly loot what is in this box, I wonder? See, how do you actually pick that stuff up? I don't think it'll let me because I've got a full backpack. Okay, can I build a quick storage container? This is an unexpected problem. Can I build a quick storage container? just to put stuff in temporarily. It's all this coal, isn't it? We don't need all this coal. Just dump them in there, dump them in there. Just stuff we don't need temporarily. Grab all, there we go. Right. Okay, that's that solved. So what's going to happen is we're going to have these things back to back, and we're going to have a splitting mechanism in between. So if we go to logistics and then conveyor splitter, we want to make sure the input's pointing towards us, but effectively what's going to happen is it's going to come along on that square like that, and it's going to split. Simple as that. Let's line that up like that. Now, the interesting thing about this is that at first it takes a little while for the coal to properly filter its way down. Like the power lines at the end, the power plants at the end, get the coal feed last. Everything upstream loads up before they do. But it doesn't matter, because once it's online, it just works a treat. And you can get some, I could build this a lot closer, couldn't I? I could build this really close, but we don't need to. Let's see, that's on that square there, it's about halfway on there, so spin that around and line it up, and something like that should do it, maybe there. There we go. And this is actually a better, I think, more efficient design. Apparently we don't have enough stuff. Which I presume, I thought I brought enough stuff, but we'll see. Maybe it was just that we needed. And the frames. Because I think, rather than if you think about what we had with all the belt splitting going on, like, not only is that complicated, but it's just slightly more inefficient. Just doing this, just chaining the coal down the line, works pretty well. And it's pretty compact as well, I think. For not much more space. And let's not forget, it actually looks pretty cool. You just need to be careful that you don't fall off the edge of your own map, which could actually happen if I wasn't careful. So now maybe I should have left an extra one, but it doesn't matter because I can just put these in between the conveyors like that. So that's going to feed those two. Then this one will feed these two, and then this one will feed these two. And we'll just do the same over here. That will feed these two, and these two. Right. One there like that. Like that. Like that, and then that one to that one. Yeah, like I say, the factory has been offline, but there's not a lot we can do about it, to be honest. That. And then the final step is basically linking all these things in. And you might think, well, what kind of logistic belt do I actually need? The slowest. Like, literally the slowest will do. So we'll just take normal conveyor belt. Certainly the stuff that feeds these can just be as slow as you want. Like, it really doesn't matter. Mark 1 belt all the way. Now further back, you might want to speed it up. You don't have to, but it will mean that it loads up quicker, particularly at the start. So what I tend to do is use Mark 1 belt there, and then switch to the Mark 2 belt, or even faster, it's up to you, just for this bit. But you don't need to do this. Finally, we just hook it up here. So we get rid of that, and then we'll see how this all works. So I think I'll just put a little hole in just to guide that in. That might be a bit too steep, actually. Oh no, that's fine. Just to make it look tidier. So the coal's going to start flowing through here. This is not necessary. This splitter's not really necessary anymore, but we'll leave it just in case, because in theory we could split later and do another stack that way, if you want to. But by then we're probably going to have a different way of generating power. Now the last step that we've not done is to just link these to the power grid. So we'll put that to there, and then that to there. And then we sit back and we wait and see what happens. Right, just double check this design. 1, 2. So now you see what's happening. You see how the coal down here has not yet started to filter in. It takes a little while for it to load up because these guys are going to be stealing all the coal initially until they load up on pretty much on 100. That's just the way they work. Because this splits 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It rotates. So until they start backing up, you're only getting a third of the coal down this sector, and then a third of the coal down that sector, and so on and so forth. So this is going to take a bit of time to load. It says our capacity is 300. That's not strictly true. Because each of these... There we go. Yeah, okay. So we're going to have to wait for this fuel before it seems to count it. Like once it's burning fuel, it counts as capacity, I think. Now over here we've got a full stack. So what we could do if we want to is make this a Mark III belt. Just to try and get things going a bit quicker. But like I say, when this is all up and running, it really won't matter. But that will get this thing on the line a lot quicker doing this way. You see how it's already backing up now into there, and this has got a high throughput. So coal's filtering its way even down to the 5th row. Okay, let's have a look at what that says. 550, so they're almost all online. And we get a full 600 megawatts online. And that sorts out our power problems for a little bit. Now, if we want to, if we find that that's not enough, we can actually come back and we can just keep building that thing. We could keep going, just more flooring, more stuff, keep going that way. At some point, there won't be enough coal going around. Well, we just took a shard in there. The one that we left in this box over here. Throw a shard in there, get 50% more coming out. Job's a good one. We'll leave that chest. Yeah, so that's it. You could even upgrade that if you want to. Not that it makes any difference because this thing can't throw out faster than 120. Yeah, that's as fast as we can get it right now, and that's now fully online. Okay, let's head back to base and we'll carry on with our construction. Right, back at base, and the current milestone top left I've loaded mostly up with, and we'll just send it on its way, which is this thing. So we'll just add in the extra copper wire. Improved melee combat, ready for launch. Let's go.
Milestone reached. R&D inflated your pocket dimension, added an additional hand equipment slot, and have provided an improved Xeno Zapper with increased strength and range.
So, we just got an extra storage slot here, some more space here in our backpack, which is useful, and we've got an improved Xeno Zapper, but we can do that now, and then you can mouse wheel and flick between them, which was a new thing in one of the recent updates. Select another milestone. We don't need the mushroom yet. Yellow shards would be potentially useful, so we can research them. A different way of making reinforced iron plates, which only uses iron plate and wire. Iron plate and wire, as opposed to iron plate and screws. Now that's a nice recipe, because we have way too much wire and we won't have enough screws. So that is actually quite a nice little recipe. We'll select that. And we can't put any more items in there just yet, but let's have a look at the... Where's my workshop gone? Let's have a look at the Xeno Basher, which is this thing. So to make this, we need 2 zappers and a bunch of bits and pieces. And that is actually quite a powerful melee weapon, that one. So it's well worth building. So if we go and make another Xeno Zapper. So we need to grab a load of cable. And then some wire, which are upstairs. So we'll just quickly do that. And then we'll make ourselves a Xeno Basher. And when we do go out and about exploring, and we come up against the tougher opponents, the bigger spiders and that kind of thing, we're going to have the best weapon for doing it. So that's going to get us... Let's push that back, grab that. Back, and I think that should do it. Yeah, because we have an insane amount of wire. Like, wire is so easy to make in this game. It's just copper, and it just basically goes straight into wire. But screws, as you've seen, you've got to smelt the iron into iron ingots. You've got to smelt the ingots into rods. You've got to turn the rods into screws. It's like a multi-step process. So that new recipe where we use the wire is going to pay dividends. Right, let's make one of them. So we need 2 of them. Then Xeno Basher. That's interesting. We have to put it in our backpack. Yeah, we do. Right, there we go. So it consumes those 2 and turns into a Xeno Basher. Nice. So we'll put that in there. And there we go. Oh, yeah. How aggressive is that? It's even got a key dangling from it. Don't ask me what that's for. I have no clue. Right, we've got a chainsaw. Now, you'd think a chainsaw would do like a ton of damage against creatures, and actually does none. It's really disappointing in that respect. Okay, let's turn all this stuff back on. Finally. We'll get the screw production on the line. And we'll just quickly check the power. There we go, 600 megawatts, and looks like some of the machines have closed down because we're not pushing 300 anymore. But here we go. If we got our maths correct, we're now spitting screws out at a rate of knots. So the only thing to do now is to get the other end connected up, which is the bit down here. And the problem is this stuff is in the way, so this is where we're going to have to say goodbye to some of this stuff. That, because we need it for improvements. Now, there is one thing that I've been thinking about. We can actually make better power lines. Well, not so much power lines, better power poles. Because a power pole currently only takes 4 connections. But with the help of some quick wire, which I think we're making. Are we making quick wire yet? Maybe we're not. Maybe we're not making it yet. Actually, no, I don't think we are. No. Okay, that's one of the things that we need to do. We can make a power pole which takes 7 power connectors if we use quick wire. Now we can discover quick wire. We know how to do it. It's the Caterium ore. But I think we're not mining it and smelting it properly. Yeah, that's quite a way off. 700 meters, 600 meters. So that's one for the future projects. Bring in a bunch of Caterium ore. Actually, what we'll do is we'll extract the Caterium ore, make it into ingots, and then we'll bring the ingots over here. Depending on where it is, we can either belt it in or we can get a truck to deliver it. It doesn't really matter. And then from that, we can make Caterium wire, and Caterium wire is incredibly useful because it makes better power poles and stuff. Right, let's see. We want the super fast conveyor, sorry. We want to try and go over there. Does that look a bit naff? I think that looks a bit naff. So let's do something slightly better. Okay. This is looking tasty. So let's do the top one first, it'll be easier. Two. And then another set down here. I don't know what the maximum distance is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it might be 6. But if we stick on 5 like that, I'm thinking it should be fine. Can't afford, we don't have any iron rods. I think you find we do have iron rods there. We have plenty of iron rods. Okay, conveyor belt Mark 3. Look at that, just so many screws, it's ridiculous. Now, currently we're making screws over here. And we're taking them into there. That's about to change. I think what we'll do is we'll disconnect that from there. What is that? I think that's a Mark 1 belt. We'll push that into that side instead. That way we can bring this into here more easily. Now this has got screws going in it, so we don't need that anymore. That can disappear. We're going to change the feed. And the way we'll do this is we'll start off by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I've run out of stuff. Can you actually believe it? Ready to get some more of those plates, which are upstairs, I believe. Ah, dear. Right, so we're just going to run around, grab some more of those lovely steel plate thingies, because we have to use Mark 3 belt. Which I think we're making here. Go, grab a load of them. Once you've got things being automatically made, I find it's better if you make things slightly in excess and then use a storage container, because that way you've always got somewhere to go and grab bits and pieces when you need them. In Factorio, you know, that's kind of effectively like a shopping mall kind of build, where you just have somewhere that you can go just to grab things that you need. There we go. So that's like that. And then we can come in and do conveyor splitter, which we'll put around about there. Mark 3 to that. Awesome sauce. Oh yeah. Now we carry that line on, but the reality of it is that shouldn't get much in the way of screwage, because that's taking 120 a minute, that's taking 132, that's 252 per minute, and there's 270 on the line. So most of it is going to get split off, but a little bit will kind of trickle on that way. But the upper belt, on the other hand, is a full stack belt, which is going to take downstream usage. I don't know what we're going to use it in yet, but it doesn't really matter. Right then, now to the bigger problem. How do we sort all of our stuff out? What do we want to do here? So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 constructors making iron plates. And an iron plate, if you look at an iron plate, it's a 30 input and then a 15 output. It just so happens that one of these things outputs at 30, right? So effectively, it's going to be one of those to one of those. We're going to use 3 of them, which means we're going to produce 3 lots of iron plates. 3 times 15 is 45. So we'll produce 45 iron plates per minute, which is, it's not a lot, but I don't think we need too many iron plates in production just yet. And if we do, we're going to have to make them somewhere else, because I don't think we've got enough iron coming in. We'd have to build another dedicated construction site. You can see here it's already stacking up. These iron plates are going into here to produce reinforced, but it only uses 20. So that gives you an idea of how much we're going to use them. If we built a second one of them, like this, actually that's using iron rods, this is producing reinforced iron plates, that's producing rotors, that's fine. Yeah, reinforced iron plates. So if we want to produce another stack of these, which we probably do because it only makes at 5 per minute, we'll still be able to do it because we're making 45 and this can do 40. So that's something that the belt, you know, once we get the new bus online, we could make another one of these. But then we've also got to factor in this problem where we need a ton of screws. But remember, on the top right there, we're researching a new way of making iron plates that doesn't require screws. It requires the wire, and the wire we do have. So what we can do later, when we get that new recipe, is we can get copper wire onto this bus down here and then switch these out to the screws and allow the screws to carry on to be used in other things. And screws will get used later on, but that's in the future. Just trying to sort of keep slightly one step ahead of the game. So yeah, we're going to use 3 of these, which will leave, let's think, should leave, I think it's 4, is it? How many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, surely I miscounted. We should have 9. Oh. Hang on. Come on, game, just let me have an overview. I just want to be able to get on high a little bit. This is where Factorial's a lot nicer in that you can actually get a proper overview of your factory. There we go. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8. Yes, we do. We do in fact have 8. Is that at maximum production, I wonder? It's iron ore coming in. It's a Mark II belt. That's a 120 belt. Right, these Mark I mines, I'm trying to remember what we've got now. It's a Mark II mine. Going out at 120. That looks pretty busy. This, on the other hand, doesn't look so busy. Is that one going... Oh, that one's going upstairs, I think. One sec. Now that one's being used here. So I'm just trying to remember what we did. And then this one comes through there. That's right. It goes in there. Right, okay. So we've got 2 120s feeding this. And they are taking 30 each. So yeah, that's why there's 8 of them. That makes perfect sense. Right then, so how many do we want to use for the various bits and pieces? Well, 3 are already being used now to make screws with, which leaves us with those 5. We're going to have to... So that's not ideal, really, because we want to make iron rods. We're going to need iron rods later, and we don't make iron rods that quickly. But we're going to have to work out whether we want more iron plates or more iron rods. I suspect we'll need more iron rods, but that turns them into screws, which we no longer need. So with 5 of these smelters, we could make... One smelter goes to make 1 iron plate, or 1 smelter makes 2 lots of iron rods. That's the key thing here, isn't it? Well, let's start by taking all this apart, because all this is going to go. Let's get rid of this. Leave that for now. Let's get rid of that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just get rid of that. That. This is where we're glad of all that extra backpack space we just got given for free. That extra 1 concrete can go in the bin. Okay, so this lot is probably going to have to go. Let's put some stuff in temporary storage. Let's see, we'll put a bunch of these in that. Bunch of these in that. Concrete we'll keep for now because that's probably useful. So we'll just keep one of them. Put them in that, that'll do. Okay. This is going to break like all of our downstream construction, but this is only manufacturing screws anyway, which are no longer needed, I don't think, so in theory it shouldn't affect things too much. He says hopingly. Now what is more difficult to get rid of is when you've got these storage containers lying around and they're just full of stuff. Like, you can't just easily disassemble them. Well, you can, but you end up with boxes of stuff that you can't move unless you can grab it all. Right, that's iron plates, so that can just go offline for now. There we go. And we've absolutely tore that thing apart. And it's suddenly gone quiet, hasn't it? So we've got 5 of these. I think what we'll do is we'll make 2. Yeah, we'll have 4 of them dedicated to iron plates and 1 of them dedicated to iron rods. That's going to make us 60 iron plates and 30 iron rods per minute. I think that's probably a good mix. Okay, so if what we can do is just get rid of all that. It's probably better to combine. So we'll use the N one for the rods, and these 2 can each combine. Oh, we need one to one, don't we? We need 1 constructor in front of each of these. Right, okay. Let's go for, let's see, constructor. So we'll start off by lining that up, just directly like that. Put it right back. And then hopefully we can just put these next to each other like that. 2, 3, 4. Now with this one, because we want to split it into 2 iron rod, we can line them up as well. 1 there like that. This one will have a logistics splitter like that. Okay, because it is going to make it iron rod, and rods take 15 per minute. Out of one of those things is coming 30 a minute, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 30. So that's a nice perfect ratio for it. These, on the other hand, these are going to be making iron plates, which take 30 a minute, hence 1 to 1. And we just need to get these things powered up. So what we could do is we could have 1 between 2. I'll have to go there. Alright. Let's get the power lines linked. One to there, one to there. And then we'll link you to that. One to there, one to there. Come on, get on top. Okay, so they're all powered. They've all got green bars over them. So now it's a question, well, what do we do with the output? Well, we've got those two producing rods. These four producing 15 per minute. So it's literally a question of merging them down. So we'll have a merger in front of this. Make sure the output's coming towards us. That. And same over here. So we get it lined up as best we can. That. To that. And then we just want to merge the two together and get them onto the bus, which is over there. So if we just line it up like that. And that can now go onto the bus. And then with these two, we just want to merge them. So we'll have, let's see, conveyor merger right in front. Get it lined up with that one just for tardiness. Cool. And then this just depends which side of the bus we want to put it on now, because we've actually got two lanes, even though I'm only using one. This can go, we don't need that. There we go. So what we could do is just bring both of these up over here. Do you know what? I wish they put lights in this game. Seriously? What factory doesn't have lights? I know it's on the list. It's on the dev list, but it's just crazy that they didn't have that from the start. I think what we'll do here is we'll just quickly repurpose this before we connect it over there. Or should we just turn straight out of here? Let's just turn. Yeah, let's just do that. Just go like that. And then we're gonna come onto this one here. So at this point we probably want one of these. Or we can just guide it out of here, I guess. That's right. Mark 1 belt's fine. Is that going to cut into there? It is. I think it is, you know. It's going to look nasty if it does. There you go. So we'll take that down to that. Fantastic. Now it's starting to look a bit better around here. Look at this. Can we get rid of these power lines? Or is that going to knock all this stuff offline? I think it probably will, won't it? I think they're all being powered by that one. Get rid of that though. Oh yeah, I'm liking this. This is more like it. So now we should have iron plates being made, and we've got iron rods being made. 30 per minute on the rod. That should be a full stack of 60 by the time it gets onto this. That should be a fully compressed belt, which is currently going nowhere. It was going into this storage space, I think, which is slowly being consumed. And then that was feeding all the way along into here. So that can now, instead of taking its feed from there, it could take its feed from this. Depends whether we want to carry on that down there on the bus or not. I suspect, given that that takes... Wait, no more power. Whoops, hang on. Do you remember what I said about the power line? Ignore. Get a nice power line down there, that would be nice. Let's do it this way. See, in theory, what we should do is put the bus down. That, you know what? That would be a really nice design. Look at that. Assuming it works, that would be a nice design. You put that here, and then connect that to there, and then you've just got the power running down the middle. I like that. That's quite tidy. Right, now this can now connect to any of these things, can't it? So where's that getting its power from? It's getting it from there, which was going off that way. So that's obviously dead. So simplistically, we can put that bar. Is that online now? That's green, that's yellow. Why is that yellow? It doesn't have enough screws. Oh, hello. Looks like I left a couple of bits online on the belt before it actually... Still not happy. There it is. There's a cheeky one there, look. Oh my god. How am I supposed to get that? I can't even look at it without it wanting to configure the assembler. Well, that was an interesting problem. There's like one rod just stuck on the entrance there, which stopped the whole machine from working. There we go. So anyway, this lot can all go. That's no longer needed. These can all go. This can go. And this. And what we're basically left with is a load of storage full of stuff. Which... It's annoying, but it doesn't really matter. This place is looking a lot tidier. Look at this. That's way more efficient. Way tidier. We've got all this space, all this stuff being made. So plates are coming off down here. At the moment they're being fed from the storage area. That's fine. And we probably want to double up on these things. This constructor here, we probably want to double up on making reinforced iron plates. Just depends, we need a lot more screws. So, but we won't do that, we'll wait until we've got the wire recipe to do it with. So yeah, but those iron things can now just go straight over here and be fed directly off the bus. That's taking 20 per minute actually, so that's just stupid doing that. We shouldn't do that, that's bad. What we should do is split it. Otherwise we'll be shoving 60 there into something that can only take 20, and we want to be able to split this later. Ideally we'd want to carry this on, but this belt is in the way. So we've got a couple of options. We can either take this belt and move it up a level so we can get it past, or we can split it off and use it all over here. I'm not really sure. We might even move this whole production of reinforced iron plates to a different place anyway. Given one, we get the new recipe. So anyway, we've got an alternate stitched iron plate which requires wire and iron plates. Let's go and get that stuck in. Let's make sure we've got enough of those. Definitely want to take those with us. Okay, that should do it. So the pod has come back. We can unlock the next recipe. Next door. Just this. What does it do? Iron plates. So we should have that recipe. We should have iron plates and wire, yeah, which is a really good thing to have. Now what I'm going to do before we finish here, I'm going to quickly go over to the elevator and see what it was after, because the next elevator will unlock tier 5 and 6 tech, I believe. And we're kind of getting to the point where we want to start thinking about that unlock, because it's going to introduce a whole bunch of things that we don't currently have. So in order to do that, we're going to need to make 500 modular frames and 150 motors. So that's quite a bit of stuff actually. 500 modular frames and 150 motors. We're probably better just making those by hand and then unlocking tier 5 and 6. I think we've done enough for this video, so I think we're going to stop there. Things are looking pretty tidy on the ground floor now. I think we've sorted out the whole iron plate, iron rod, screw production, and I'm pretty happy where it's at. It's running fairly efficiently. It may not be enough stuff, but supply and demand is always going to be an ongoing problem in this game. These need to be cleared down, of course. They're just standing around, but for now we'll just use them as a... In fact, what I might just do is I might just move storage containers over here and just load them up like a little mini shopping mall that's manually loaded. Then we can just get rid of these 3 and then get rid of all these over here. Actually, that's got nothing in it by looking at it. Oh. It's actually being emptied. Interesting. Let's get rid of that while we're here. But yeah, just a bit of tidying up to do. I'm quite happy with what we've done. We've got power sorted for a little while. Let's get rid of that as well. We've got power sorted for a little while. Is that taking rods from storage? Okay, that's one more thing I need to do. Is we need to get those rods over here instead of coming straight out of storage there. So that's one more thing to be done. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And until the next one, take care. Happy manufacturing.